All right, everybody, welcome to the Gall's Deep podcast, and that is Gall with the G. Just want to make sure we got that out there. Today, we are going to talk about Erika Kirk for a little bit. And as the thumbnail says, Erika Kirk is unbelievable. And we have a lot to say. And by we, I do mean she has a lot to say. So let's just get started. And also, before we get started, make sure you like and subscribe and all the good stuff. That definitely will help out the channel. So let's get into it. Let me go to this first picture. Erika is wiping tears with a $100 bill.
A stack of $100 bills.
A stack of $100 bills.
So
What do you got to say?
one of the things I wanted to talk about with Erika Kirk, and this is the reason I want to talk about this, is just because it's a hot topic right now. A lot of people have a lot to say about her, and I think that there's some good reason for some of the controversy. I think that since Charlie's death, Erika has portrayed herself in ways in the public that are not necessarily consistent with public expectations. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about how a grieving widow should behave. And, lots of women will say, if my husband died, if my husband was killed, that's not how I would behave. I'd be a mess. I would be, inconsolable. I wouldn't be out in public, all of these things. And so, initially, that was my first reaction, and I had a lot of strong feelings towards Erika Kirk and her behavior and the way that she was portrayed in the media, and had a lot of skepticism about her sincerity and her the authenticity of her reactions in the media, out in public, and in her speaking events. And in my analysis of Erika Kirk, since the assassination of Charlie Kirk, is in no way meant to disrespect Charlie Kirk or his legacy or anything that he stood for. I think that he was truly a treasure and definitely a strong voice for the conservative movement in this country. And his loss is immeasurable. The loss of him is immeasurable. So we'll never know what he could have accomplished in his lifetime now. And so he was a priceless asset to the conservative movement. So I still have mixed feelings about Erika Kirk, and I still don't really know what to make of her, but there are a lot of things that I just kind of want to look at just in the evolution of her public persona since Charlie Kirk's assassination. And so one of the things I do really want to start out with is just to kind of talk about a lot of what is on social media, especially on X. People are brutal. Erika Kirk does come across as inauthentic. She comes across as unbelievable. That's why I wanted to title this particular episode Erika Kirk is Unbelievable, because she's really hard to believe.
Yeah.
Um,
And we have a lot of videos that we're going to try to pull up here and watch a few little snippets and just kind of showcase why we think the way we are thinking.
So before we get started with that, I do want people to understand I did a little bit of research in advance of talking about this topic today, really looking into how the wives of prominent historical figures and prominent women in history responded after the death of their husbands. And to all of those people out there who say, we all grieve differently, that is true. We do all grieve differently. But one common trend that I have noticed among women who are the wives of prominent political figures, or women who are prominent political figures themselves, is that they actually kind of behaved in a similar way to Erika Kirk. And so this was really shocking to me, and something that, although this is not going to be controversial, and it's not going to really confirm any of the suspicions that the majority of people out in the public really have. But there are a few prominent women that I want to talk about. One of them is Queen Victoria of England. When her husband, Prince Albert, died, she went into mourning, and she stayed in mourning for the rest of her life. Now, she exhibited her mourning behavior by wearing all black, and she did shy away from public events. However, she still continued to rule England for over 40 years after her husband died, and built the British Empire into what it ultimately became. So without her leadership and guidance, that would not have happened. For better or for worse, we can debate the merits of the British Empire in a different episode. But, that's for a different day. But to really exemplify what a strong, powerful woman did after losing the love of her life, we can't really say that Erika Kirk should have crawled into a hole and disappeared from public life after losing her husband when we compare her to other prominent women in history. Looking at Coretta Scott King after Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated, she founded the MLK Center for Nonviolent Social Change in 1968. And then she was the director of that organization until 1994. She had 4 children when Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. She continued on to raise her 4 children. Her oldest was about 13 years old. The other 3 were younger than that. And so she raised her children and ran that organization as the director of the organization until her son ultimately took over running the organization. Other women that were prominent women who were in similar situations. Oh darn it! I lost my notes there. Sorry about that.
But you deserve that.
You do deserve better. You deserve better. Other prominent women who, went on to continue running organizations even after the death of their spouses. Mary Kay Ash, who was the founder and president of Mary Kay Cosmetics. There were a lot of these women who, even though they had lost a spouse, still went on to have really productive careers, still managed to raise their families, did not shy away from public appearances, and, ended up grieving in their own ways and still being successful and still living very public lives. And so, I had some unfair criticism of Erika Kirk in the beginning. That is an area where I'm going to choose not to deliver any criticism towards her because she's a very powerful woman with a very public facing job. And more than likely, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt that she's probably doing the best job that she can. And, I appreciate other prominent YouTube podcasters and people who are analyzing this situation, like Candace Owens giving Erika Kirk a very fair treatment in her analysis after their meeting that they had to discuss circumstances around Charlie Kirk's assassination and some of the ways that Turning Point handled some of their media and things that they put out after that. So that is one thing I want to clear up right off the bat, that, this is not the opportunity to really just dog and trash on Erika Kirk, but to really kind of look at the situation and why people think that she is so fake.
Definitely.
So the next thing that I want to look at is going to be, I want to start with Erika's first, this statement that she gave after Charlie was assassinated.
Bear with me.
Keep going. Not that one. Not that one. No.
Those were the hooks.
Sorry, it's the one. It's the one with her in the white suit in Charlie's office. There.
Okay. We got it. Too many windows pulled up. Okay.
Okay.
Let's check this out real quick.
Jesus. Good evening. My name is Erika Kirk. Charlie Kirk is my husband. I first want to thank the local, state, and federal law enforcement who worked tirelessly to capture my husband's assassin so that he can be brought to justice. I want to thank the first responders who struggled heroically
Okay,
to save.
So in this video, this is our first public-facing video that we see of Erika Kirk after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And one of the first things that I noticed when I watched this is the very dramatic way in which Erika speaks. She pauses a lot for effect, deep breaths, deep sighs, whispering. Um, it to me, in my opinion, it comes across as overly dramatic. I haven't had my husband brutally killed in front of a crowd full of people before, so I don't know how dramatically I would be speaking if I were giving a press conference or a statement after the death of my husband. We can speculate on, whether this was too soon after Charlie was killed to give any kind of a formal statement or not. That's something we can definitely debate, and the timing is different for each person. But in this video, this is the first time that we really see Erika Kirk after Charlie died, and that her demeanor is very dramatic and over the top. So we'll kind of see an evolution of Erika's interactions and the way that she speaks in public. And then what I would like to do at the end is compare it to some of the ways that Erika spoke and some of the things that she talked about before Charlie died in certain events that she held with Charlie, and then also being on his podcast. So this is the first one. The next one that we see is going to be Erika when she is speaking at Charlie's memorial service. Now, Charlie's memorial service, I watched the entire thing. It took me a couple days to watch the whole thing because it was a very long service. Beautiful service. I think that in a lot of ways it was a tribute to Charlie, and that there were a lot of people who spoke very sincerely and from the heart at Charlie's memorial. In Erika's speech at Charlie's memorial, this was another instance where she received a lot of criticism, especially at the point where she talks about, Charlie's life's work and what he was trying to achieve was to save young men like the one who killed him.
All right, let's roll this tape.
That man, that young man, I forgive him.
So in this video, Erika got, or at this event, or after this event, Erika got a lot of criticism for the way that she delivered that moment in the speech. There were several moments in the speech where Erika continues on with the same method of delivery, pausing for effect, whispering, lowering her voice, she speaks in a very dramatic fashion. At this moment, I think that the biggest criticism that she got, though, was forgiving Charlie's killer, or his presumed killer, very soon after Charlie's death. At this point, after Charlie's death, Tyler Robinson was in custody, but there may be some controversy out there as to whether or not Tyler Robinson is the person solely responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. That is also a conversation for another show. We're talking today about why Erika Kirk is unbelievable. And in this, the way that she delivered her message once again occurred in that fashion that was over dramatic, pause for effect, looking up, tears that weren't really there. And so in this moment, this is just another one of those more evidence as to why it is difficult to believe Erika Kirk, whether or not what she is conveying to people is truthful, sincere, consistent with, facts. That's to be determined, but it does make it very hard to believe her because she seems as though she is overselling what she is trying to deliver. So another place where I want to talk about Erika is, with some of the uncomfortable interactions that she's had with people.
I know where you're going with this one.
Erika got a lot of criticism for a very intimate hug that she had with Vice President JD Vance at a Turning Point event. And so if you are, this is the hug, this is the embrace that rocked the world.
So if you haven't seen it, here we go. Get this pulled up. Check this out.
I mean, JD
Why not?
victorious in that moment. So that is the hug heard around the world right there. This is another one of those instances where Erika's behavior just seems kind of off. The first time I saw this hug, I was completely creeped out by it. I felt that the full frontal, pelvis press, chest press, JD Vance's arms completely embracing Erika, wrapped around her.
That right there.
Her hand grasping the back of his head. I felt that this hug was a hug that was too intimate for two people who are not intimately related. So, and for this hug to occur on essentially a national stage at a prominent Turning Point event, this is just one of those things that makes it hard to believe. Is Erika, the grieving widow, trying to hold her husband's legacy together against all odds and preserve, his company and what he stood for? Or is she a creepy weirdo? I don't know. I just think that this hug is really awkward.
Indeed.
And I've heard some people say that Erika is a hugger, that she's kind of a huggy, snuggly person. I don't know if this is true.
I haven't heard that.
But there is other evidence of Erika hugging people in very intimate and awkward ways. So prior to this hug with JD Vance, of course, we see her embrace with President Trump at Charlie's memorial.
Let's play this one.
2 kisses on the cheeks, then pause that.
Well, maybe. There we go.
So, she is hugging President Donald Trump, embracing him in a way that to me seems too intimate. That seems like a hug that you would reserve for
Sorry, I'm just laughing at his face. He's making
for somebody that you are much more intimately acquainted with. Now, she doesn't have her full body pressed against President Trump's body, but she does have her head nuzzled into the crook of his neck. And this is a very intimate posture that she has taken. It does appear to be a posture of comfort seeking, but to me, even if it's a posture of comfort seeking, and even if you were previously familiar with President Donald Trump, which Erika Kirk was familiar with him prior to this event, it seems like a hug that is just a little bit too intimate for that relationship and that occasion. That for an event like this, Charlie's memorial service was a nationally televised event with musical groups, renowned award-winning musical groups, prominent political figures, prominent figures of just our social sphere, people that, are, celebrities and things like that, plus thousands of, attendees who are observing this. And the behavior just seems odd. And so this is just another one of those things, like building that case of like, okay, why does Erika Kirk seem weird? Well, it's because Erika Kirk's weird. And she's just, I mean, she might be a really sweet lady. I don't know. I don't know her. I've watched her in a few videos with Charlie from the past. And I mean, she seems, at least at those times, like, she really loved Charlie and that she can convey herself and comport herself in a way that's very sincere and authentic. She may be sincere and authentic in these instances, but she just seems really weird. So here is another really weird exchange between Erika and Jesse Waters. And this is at another Turning Point event, the same Turning Point event where she awkwardly hugged JD Vance.
Are those the same one?
I think it's the same event.
Okay.
It's just backstage.
Oh, okay. Even better. All right, here we go.
It's the perfect song. It's the perfect night. God bless you. You're ready for this. God bless you.
So
back that one up for a second.
There we go.
Just one thing I wanted to point out that I noticed.
It's the perfect night.
There you go.
Right there.
God bless.
I think Jesse himself was really wanting this hug. I mean, he reaching out.
I think he was fishing. He was fishing for the hug.
He was fishing for the hug. That's
Trump
good.
got a hug. JD Vance got a hug. And Jesse Waters.
Golly, I want a hug.
He wanted his awkward hug moment. But Trump and Vance and Jesse Waters are not the only people that Erika gives really awkward hugs to. Because when she was on Megyn Kelly's show, and Megyn Kelly interviewed her, they had their sit down. This is the famous sit down with Megyn Kelly where Erika Kirk wore the black lace pantsuit. Before you tee that up. Now, Erika Kirk's gotten a lot of flack for wearing the black lace pantsuit. There has been some controversy about the way that she dresses. And I have to admit that I was initially a skeptic and was really turned off by a lot of Erika's attire in her public appearances after the death of Charlie Kirk, or after Charlie Kirk's assassination. She's gotten some criticism for the leather pants and the white freedom t-shirt. She has gotten criticism for the, black lace overlay over the spaghetti strap cocktail dress. And, definitely gotten some flack over sequined pantsuits. The sequin pantsuit, I mean, it has to be sparkly. She's on stage. She has to put on a performance and a show for those big events. In this one, when she met with Megyn Kelly, she got a lot of flack for the black pantsuit. I really don't think the black pantsuit is that bad. Mourning widows have dressed in full black lace for centuries. And so this is, I think, just her interpretation of what she thinks a widow should be wearing. It wasn't that revealing. Was it in poor taste? I don't know. I think, a woman's taste just depends on her. It's consistent with Erika's taste, though, and it's consistent with the way that she dresses. She's always incorporated some risque elements into her attire. And just remember, for her, she is a woman who felt completely comfortable walking up and down a stage in stilettos and a string bikini. So in her pageant days, when you're competing in pageants, you are practically naked on a stage in front of an auditorium full of people, and you're prancing around with a sash and stiletto heels. So she's a woman who's very comfortable with her body. So I'm not going to give her any flack about her outfit here. But what I am going to highlight is that this is just another one of those moments. This hug's not as awkward. It's not as off-putting. It feels more like a hug between girlfriends more than the hug like she was JD Vance's girlfriend. So go ahead and roll that, Brett. So this is Erika Kirk.
Erika Kirk.
coming out on stage to have her sit down with Megyn Kelly. And as you can see, the black pantsuit, it's really not that revealing. That hug. So Erika does tuck her face into Megyn Kelly's neck. She's got to be careful. Megyn Kelly's wearing a white suit. You don't want to get makeup on that beautiful white suit. But, and we don't know if that's Erika's skin that you can see through those sheer lace pants. She very well could have tights on underneath. There could be a nude underlay, whatever the situation. But, I don't know. I'm on the fence. Is Erika Kirk just a hugger? Is she a person who loves or craves intense physical contact with people that she feels very connected with? I don't know. Are her weird and awkward hugs with, prominent male figures of, the political sphere and the media sphere evidence of some other kind of behavior that is untoward or unethical? I don't know about that.
Let us know what you think.
But we would like to know what you think. What do you think about
What do you think about all of her hugging?
Erika's hugging behavior?
Yep.
I don't know. I do think that, this interview that she had with Megyn Kelly, we're not going to play any more of it. You guys can definitely watch it on your own. That is one that she definitely got lots of flack about. She did come on stage with a bunch of tissues and a Bible, and had the Bible resting in her lap. I don't know. So it kind of seemed like a stage prop to me when I watched that. But what I really wanted to highlight there was her hugging. So we've got Erika that has a very performative way of public speaking. We have Erika with her kind of awkward, weird on stage and off stage hugs. The other thing that I want to look at with Erika is I want to look at her interview with Barry Weiss. And this is another one of those moments that she really got a lot of flack for, were her facial expressions during this interview. And so one of the things that I looked at in this interview was, are her facial expressions consistent with what we would expect from genuine human emotions? And I watched this interview and then I watched an analysis of it. I think it's the behavioral arts is who did the analysis on it, talking about Erika's facial expressions and why she may come across as unbelievable. And in that interview with Barry Weiss, she definitely had, that's the interview where she had the really strong stare. Barry Weiss asked her about what she would like to say to conspiracy theorists who are speculating about her involvement or, spreading misinformation about Charlie Kirk's assassination. And she just wanted to say, she said, stop. Just stop, with a very strong gaze. I think that is another example of Erika Kirk's performative expression. I don't think it does her any favors. Now, I'm not speculating as to what she's saying is true or not, or whether she's genuine or not. I'm just saying that the way that she portrays herself in media appearances seems disingenuous, is basically what I'm saying. So whether she is or not, that's to be determined. That's just my perception of what she's doing. So this is just,
I think this is just a clip on the Barry Weiss. I don't know if I have the exact one that you were just talking about, but we'll go ahead and roll it. See what we got here.
Erika, as you know, the last person that
this is
Charlie ever spoke to.
This is when
was a
Barry
Utah
Weiss
Valley student
is
named
introducing Hunter Kozak
He was
on her
asking
show.
Charlie a question that day when he was shot.
You see her face right
And
there,
he's here tonight,
and pause it,
and he wants to
and catch that glare that Erika has right when Barry Weiss is.
Charlie ever spoke to was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak.
And
He was asking Charlie a question that day
this
when
is
he was
her
shot.
glare right
There's the
there.
glare.
Now, that's one of her many glares in this interview. This is a very glaring interview that she did with Barry Weiss. But one of the things about this, though, that to me emphasizes the performative nature of Erika Kirk's reactions is that there's been some speculation as to whether or not Erika knew that Hunter Kozak was going to be on involved in the town hall. I think they called it a town hall, and so
Yeah, let me see it.
so I was really interested in this because one of the first people that I heard talking about this was Megyn Kelly. She was talking with Tucker Carlson last week uh, about this moment and about how Barry Weiss ambushed Erika Kirk in this moment. That Erika Kirk didn't know that. That Barry Weiss was going to bring Hunter Kozak on. And this, that was not the most shocking thing about this town hall that I perceived. But, there was some information, or there were some YouTube personalities who really felt like that Erika Kirk being ambushed was like the most controversial thing about this. One of those people was the YouTuber Jesse on Fire. He talks about that. Here, I think this was his clip of.
So if you haven't, make sure you go check him out. Subscribe to him if you need to, or if you want to. Let me see if we get this going. Where's
It's the bottom.
There we go.
She didn't lead Erika to good places for Erika to shine. She ambushed her with the guy who asked Charlie the last question before he was shot and killed.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So like I was saying, okay, in the intro, that was my actual first reaction to seeing this. Okay. I always assumed that Erika had been the one who orchestrated that put that together. And she was like, hey, let's have Hunter Kozak on. Okay. It never even crossed my mind that some psychotic network executive who, for some reason.
So I would have to actually disagree with Megyn Kelly. Now, Megyn Kelly may have inside information that the rest of us viewers of YouTube, or the viewers of Megyn Kelly's show, I watched that interview between Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly, and I was not really shocked by that. I didn't find that particularly controversial, and I was skeptical as to whether or not Erika Kirk actually was ambushed, because the town hall, Erika Kirk manages her public appearances so tightly. She has a PR team. She has bookers and schedulers and people who manage every aspect of all of her public appearances. Erika Kirk did not appear to have been ambushed. She didn't look like she was shocked. She had that same kind of rehearsed, intense look of disapproval on her face that she's exhibited multiple times before. But I don't know that that was an authentic, unrehearsed moment of shock and surprise. She did not have the appearance of somebody who was who suddenly was confronted with the person who asked Charlie Kirk the last question of his life. So
it doesn't look like she was ambushed to me.
I don't think she was ambushed. Given the information that has come out and what we know from Candace Owens reporting about how her meeting with Erika Kirk was so tightly negotiated that, where, when, how, who was going to be present, everything like that. When she met with Candace Owens, I can't imagine that Erika Kirk would have gone and participated in a town hall with Barry Weiss without knowing who's going to be there, who's going to
And
be
who's going to ask the
involved,
question?
and who's
Exactly.
going to be asking questions.
Yeah.
I can't imagine her agreeing to do something like that without knowing all of the details of the event. Also, there haven't been any statements after that event of Erika Kirk coming out and saying, I was ambushed, I didn't know. There are no accusatory statements towards Barry Weiss or any evidence that Erika Kirk was unprepared for that or didn't want that to happen. So I would have to disagree with Megyn Kelly in this instance that I don't think Erika Kirk was ambushed. I think that Megyn Kelly is being very sweet and kind and giving a very big benefit of the doubt to Erika Kirk in that moment. Now, Erika Kirk did show a look of strong disapproval and what I perceive as spite on her face when she saw Hunter Kozak come up, but I don't think that she was unprepared for his appearance on in that town hall where she was. And so this is, I think that like all of these things kind of lining up, Erika's performative way of speaking, her whispering, her lowering her voice for dramatic effect, her intense stares, looking up. We didn't show any videos of blotting tears that weren't there, but she's received lots of criticism for blotting tears that weren't there. All of these things are evidence to support why people find that Erika Kirk is unbelievable. And these instances of her behavior are pretty starkly contrasted to other times when she did seem to speak in a different way. They're not consistent with the way that Erika has spoken in other events, and even in when she attended Charlie's podcast and appeared on Charlie's podcast prior to his death. And so another thing that, kind of shifting gears here, talking about other reasons why people perceive Erika Kirk as inauthentic is because she appears to have done a pretty dramatic 180 in her actions in relation to her opinions and assertions about the role of a mother and a wife prior to Charlie's death. Now, of course, death changes things. Wives oftentimes do have to take up new roles when their husbands die. So I'm not saying that what we're looking at is completely unheard of or, out of character or out of the ordinary for a wife whose husband dies. But one of the things that Erika Kirk has also gotten a lot of criticism about is that prior to Charlie's death, she was quite an adamant supporter of, the woman's place is in the home. Her husband is the leader of the household. The woman's role is to protect the home, to protect the children, to raise the children, that your career comes second. And we have evidence of her saying this. So I think that she was genuine when she said it and she meant it, but I don't know,
her actions today don't show it.
Her actions today are not consistent with the beliefs that she conveyed to others in her appearances in the past. So I want to take a look at a couple of instances.
That's another reason why we find her unbelievable. I mean,
it's hard to believe somebody when they say one thing and they do something else.
Doing something totally different. That's the one.
Yes, that's one of them. So this was at I think this is the Young Women's Leadership Conference that she hosted with Charlie in the summer of 2025.
So I believe somebody's about to ask her a question.
Yes.
For some influencer thing, your children are sacred. Protect them. That is your role as a mother. Your platform was given to you by God, so steward it well and steward it properly. But it's not going to go anywhere. What you're building now is not going to get destroyed. I think that's what a lot of people get misconstrued, is thinking okay, what I'm building now is going to be worthless once I have a family. No, God will redirect it. He'll turn it into whatever it needs to turn into. pray on it, because it's not always super clear, but it will come to you. And I think that, yes, every season's going to come and have its own time and turn, but if this is what you're focusing on right now, like, that's what you're focusing on. I mean, I don't.
I think you're in a.
There was a part where she said
There's
she was focusing on the children.
a question about, there's another one. There's a
Yeah.
question about, this was Charlie and Erika, or Erika specifically, was asked a question about, how to handle career and having children. And Erika's response was that you have the whole rest of your life basically to have a career. But that when you have children, children are the priority. So this is contrary to what Erika is perceived to be doing now. Now, I don't know how much time she's spending with her children. I am not there. Her children may be right off stage with, a babysitter or a family member or a nanny or somebody like that. And she is with them every waking moment, except for those moments that she is actually on stage delivering a speech, or, that she's in a meeting. I have no idea. Juggling motherhood and a career is very difficult. But for a woman who doesn't have to work, I think that's the thing that's really hard, is that Erika Kirk is not impoverished. She's likely not in jeopardy of losing her home, or not being able to put food on the table, or clothe her children, or care for her children, or provide them with medical care if they need it, or anything like that. I don't think that her family is going to be destitute or go without the necessities of life if she had chosen not to assume the mantle of CEO of Turning Point USA. I don't, it's difficult. I mean, of course, it's hard to judge, but the question has to be raised is, was what Erika Kirk saying in that conference consistent with her true beliefs, or was she just saying that? Was she being inauthentic to play a role and portray a certain idea of what the ideal Christian wife should be like? And so that raises a lot of questions of, was she misleading the young women at that conference? Was she being inauthentic? Was she, or was she really stating her truly held beliefs and trying to convey to these young women that career can wait, your family and raising your children come first? Which, I mean, I think that that's a valid point to make. Women only have a limited period of time that they are able to produce children. And it's a lot easier to be a mom when you're young than when you're older. So there is some validity to that. And yes, you can go to college at any age and have a career pretty much at any age, depending on what your chosen vocation is. So in that, there was another one that she had where she was with Charlie on his podcast that also, kind of in the same vein there, where they were answering questions that were written questions sent in to the podcast by viewers to ask her and Charlie questions. And I think this first one is actually the one where she can't remember when she and Charlie got married and how long they've been married. And I think this is a really embarrassing moment for Erika. And this is another one of those moments where people question whether she truly loved Charlie, whether truly loves Charlie, whether, they're actually married, all of these things, really questioning the integrity of their relationship. I have no idea. She could have been putting on an act the whole time. She definitely has a lot of performative facial expressions and ways of speaking. And, being a former beauty pageant, you do a lot of training in how you convey yourself and comport yourself to become a pageant queen. So, I don't know. I think it's up to you. You guys decide if you think that Erika Kirk was genuinely loved Charlie or not, and whether she was being sincere and authentic in these videos. But this is the video where a lot of people have speculated and thought that it was very, very odd that Erika Kirk could not remember the year that she and Charlie got married.
All right, here we go.
We've been married since 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Engaged 2020.
So it'll be 4 years.
4 years. We laugh about this because our dates are so messed up because of babies, meaning there's so many dates to remember.
Mm-hmm. I know. I get all the
Anniversaries, like kids' birth
May
dates.
14th.
Yeah.
August
all the
23rd.
things.
So, as a mom,
I think he knows the dates.
he knows the
He's just
dates.
playing along here to
Yeah. So
not make her look bad. I think that's what he's
I think
doing
this is
here.
a really awkward interchange between Erika and Charlie that doesn't help her case at being believable at all. I don't remember the exact date that we met, but I remember.
I know the day we got married.
I know the day, not the date that we got engaged. I know definitely the year. I know the day we got married. I know the birth dates of my children.
Yes. Was never
I don't, I don't mix those up. I mean,
Yeah.
So
That was unbelievable.
and we've been married for almost 16 years, and I don't like it hasn't been that it hasn't been so long that I'm willing to forget or that I'm able to forget. So I think that this moment is really weird. And so I want to be as fair to Erika Kirk as humanly possible. I don't want this video to come back and haunt me in the future. Or if I ever meet her in person, I don't want her to completely hate me because of saying horrible things about her online. But what I did just want to talk about is just, when people are talking about how Erika Kirk is inauthentic, that she's not believable, that she's unbelievable, that there's a lot of evidence to support why people think this about her, and that people's skepticism about her has some, there's some good evidence to support that. And so, I think that people need to, do their own research, look into everything, watch videos, watch the full videos. We've provided clips. We'll provide links to these videos so you can watch them yourself, so you can be the judge. Do you think that Erika Kirk is, authentic, that she's a grieving widow, that she's trying to keep her husband's legacy together, that she's following in the footsteps of other powerful, prominent women in history who have risen to the occasion despite overwhelming grief and loss? Or is Erika Kirk an actor? Is she a plant, as some people have suggested? Is she inauthentic? Does she give awkward hugs? For sure. And is she unbelievable? We'd like to hear from you and know what you think about Erika Kirk and whether or not you think that she's believable or not. We'd love to hear your comments and know your comments, and definitely like and subscribe and check out our next video because you'll never know what we'll be talking about next.
Yeah, have a good one.